I'm Father Timothy Matkin, and I'm here with the Rector's Ramblings for September 24th, 2017. And I want to talk about what I'm calling the new iconoclasm. Now, back in Comanche, living out in the country, people seem to take great pleasure in referring to the historical society as the hysterical society. And of course, each of the country churches that I pastored was built in the late 1800s, and each of them had their own historical marker. Or do I? Historical. You know, when history turns into real-life hysteria, it's no joke. I know that many people have been distraught over the removal of the statue of General Robert E. Lee from Lee Park in Dallas and other similar occurrences around the country of late. And of course, Lee's own story is great irony. He was against slavery, against secession, against the war, and yet he prolonged all three by fighting for what he called my country. And we sometimes forget that his memory, as well as those of other Confederate dead, have been used by evil men to intimidate and oppress our neighbors in the past. And so it's no wonder, really, that a strong reaction such as we've seen would come along, sooner or later, rightly or wrongly. Of course, it feels more wrongly the more that history seems to be replaced by hysteria. We see such hysteria more at work in the ignorant attacks on statues of Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator, statues of Joan of Arc in New Orleans, and Junipero Serra in California. What many do not realize is that history is not really the driving force here. Rather, what we have is that we have entered into a new era, an iconoclastic era. Now, the word iconoclasm comes from image smashers and was made famous by the destruction of icons and church statuary in the Byzantine Empire of the 8th century, and then again during the Reformation, and again during the French Revolution, and at other times throughout history. And all of those were really spawned by a cultural movement to divorce the culture from the past and to remake and refashion it. And that's what we see in our society today. Remaking the future involves changing the past, and our memorials are crushed by that revisionism. Human nature is that we tend to destroy those things that we refuse to look at, that we don't want to see, things that make us afraid or ashamed, or that just stand in the way of our agendas. But of course, when making important decisions like this, we need to keep our eyes wide open. I'm Father Timothy Matkin. I hope if you're in Dallas, you'll come join us at St. Francis. You can look us up at stfrancisdallas.org, and we'll see you then.